Welcome back to the Author Entrepreneur Collective, the podcast where we explore how authors, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders turn their messages into impact, influence, and income. I'm your host, Stacy Matson, author of Bucket List Living and founder of Bucket List Unlimited. Today's guest is Quin Soheir, author of In God We Trust, the 30-day journaling experience for entrepreneurs. Quin, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your book, and your business?
Yeah, of course. I'm the author of In God We Trust. I am a passionate entrepreneur. What I do on the surface is that I help women, holistic women entrepreneurs, build brands, not just businesses that just get them to work and work and work, but brands that actually do the selling for them, do the conversion for them, like really take care of their clients and take care of themselves as well. So we work on everything that is from branding to branding experience and the back end system of the business. I also run myself. I have two e-commerce businesses, and I'm the author of the book, as I said, In God We Trust. And I came up with this idea because basically it's very much based on my point of view in the world and how business in general, in my personal um, journey in creating my businesses and launching and things like that throughout the years, um, I've done it without God. I try to do it myself. I try to do all the things that the industry tells us to do, follow the blueprint, follow the funnel, follow all of these strategies. And then at some point, I just realized that none of that was working for me. Like, absolutely none of that created the results that they were promising for me precisely. I saw everyone in the containers, in the groups, and all of these things. They were showing the success and the screenshots, and I did this, I did that, and I felt so behind because I was like, this is not working for me. Like, what's wrong with me? And so I went from coaches to coaches to courses to courses to opening businesses, like literally five different businesses that failed back to back because I was so trying to do things like everyone else. And at some point, I just sat down and I was like, I'm done with this. Like, I got to do things differently. I've got to trust myself. I've got to do things differently. And so I just went back into my faith and realized, just as it's not something that I didn't know, but sometimes you just have to go through cycles and trials and tribulations to just come back to God and be like, God, help me. Let's do this together. It's going to be you and me and nobody else in between us. I'm going to pray. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to listen to your guidance and I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to follow the blueprint that you give me because you are the provider of everything. And so provide for me the guidance in this business that I need because you know what I'm doing, you know my intentions, you know what I'm here to do. And so I did that, as I explained in my book, and that business number six made six figures in the first year, and everything else for me now is just history in my family.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And it's funny because I think a lot of entrepreneurs go through the same thing, right? Because I went through the whole thing too, like, trials and tribulations and until you learn to lean on God, it doesn't work.
Yeah. It's exactly that. I think that we can really relate to that because it's not that the people who are trying to sell their courses and stuff like that, it's not that what they do doesn't work. It's just that it works for them. And I think that we are now in a day and age where we understand that it's not because something works for someone that is going to work for you automatically. And as entrepreneurs, we've got to build a discernment of understanding and seeing, like, as soon as possible, what is for us and what is not for us. And the best one to tell us literally and guide us step by step for what's for us is God Himself. And then the way that I do it personally is that I pray directly to Him and I ask him for the support, the people who are going to be helping me, the right coaches, the right mentors, the right platform for the website, the right podcast hosts, from every single angle, like every single step. And it's also about learning to hear his voice because I like years ago, I remember listening to certain a precise coach. I think we all know her, Amanda Frances, and she was talking about how she hears God, and I was like, I want to do the same. How? And so, in a month of fasting, I really did my best to close myself from the world and just try to pray to God for him to talk to me so I can listen to him and hear him. And I prayed for that. And that was the focus of that month. And slowly I started hearing his voice in the form of my own intuition, but I knew it wasn't me. It was impossible that those things would come from me because I didn't know those things. And so every single time that I followed the steps, then it just flourished. Like it worked out of nowhere. And it we can say out of nowhere because we are here in this world, but he knows what's for us. And my book, like the way that I approached it is very much from a non-denominational standpoint. It brings the scriptures from the Torah, from the Bible, and from the Quran. And I also bring in spiritual knowledge at the end where I mention human design and the things that really helped me in my steps in my business. And so I think it's more about a conversation where we sit with the one who knows truly what's for us.
Yeah, I agree. I call them divine downloads when
Yeah,
because it's him for sure.
absolutely.
You talk about reaching a point where you realize you were the missing piece. That's a powerful statement. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, I have accumulated so much knowledge in my life. Like literally, I knew I wanted to become an entrepreneur since I was a child. So from that moment, it was kind of like I made a promise to my mom and I was on a mission. I told her I'm gonna be an entrepreneur and I had so much to prove to myself and to my mother, to my family, and to the world. And so I directly became so obsessed with knowing everything from childhood regarding entrepreneurship. And so, as soon as I could in my studies, I specialized in business and I accumulated the knowledge from the best institutions. And when I started working, I did the same thing. I worked for the best companies in the world. I've learned from them. I was like a sponge. I was taking in information. And so, when I started my businesses, each time really, I was just so much focused on what I can get from outside, like the external validation, the external guidance, everything from outside. And so then in the business number 6, where I sat down with God, I understood I'm the missing piece. I'm the one who, like, my essence, what I stand for, who I am, needs to be part of my business because this is literally my unique selling proposition, my unique selling point. We talk about this unique selling point in so many different ways, shape, and form in business. But what I see is that we never mention the essence of the person. And when I look into the biggest brands, like for example, Apple, because I worked for them and I studied their genius marketing for years, and I'm also a customer. So it's like them and other brands understanding that the founders found a way to put a certain essence in each one of the businesses. And when we go into entrepreneurship, we are not told to do this. We are told to follow the blueprint. And we want to be professional. We want to be the authority. We want to prove that we know. We accumulate the certification and more knowledge and more knowledge and more knowledge. And we have that idea of the person that we need to show up as. And slowly throughout time, the more we want to refine that person, that persona, the way that we show up, the more we literally detach ourselves from who we truly are. And we lose ourselves in the process because we want to be someone, somebody that we have in our mind, forgetting that literally God makes no mistakes and he didn't start the way with us with anything at all, and definitely not the way he created us. And so there's a reason why we have our own personality, our own quirks, our own weird, our own things that we love, and the way that we say things, and that perfectly imperfection about us, the good and the human side. I said human side. I didn't say imperfections. I said human sides because we are meant to be humans. This is a human experience. And so when we literally scroll on social media or look like watch TV or stuff like that, we are bombarded with perfected brands. Yet when we have a moment to just sit down with a person and connect essence to essence, soul to soul, and see their imperfections, the way that they laugh, the way that they snore out, like snort laugh, the way that they do all the things that we're like, oh my God, I wouldn't want to do this in public and stuff like that. But this is how we connect because we are human beings. And so that's the work I do with my clients is like uh, I help them make complete peace and acceptance with who they are because they are absolutely wonderful and beautiful the way that God created them. And then we extract that essence and create a brand, like a world where people just want to come in and just never leave because they feel at home, they feel the soul connection, they feel the genuine um, connection, like really being at home. Because when you allow yourself to be fully yourself, people come in and they feel relief and they feel that they have the permission to also be themselves in this space. And that to me is something that is just priceless. Whenever I can create this kind of atmosphere, I feel whole. I feel like I've done my job.
I love that so much.
Mhm.
What was the biggest identity shift you had to make before your business could grow?
In terms of identity, it's like just coming back home to myself again. um I had to heal certain parts of me that were afraid to be seen. My voice at the very early stages in my life where I was silenced for many different reasons. um I I've had a very tough childhood, and so whenever I was saying something, people were shutting me down because my way of thinking is very unique, and I think you can see that by the type of the book that I decided to publish. Um, Very unique, and so when you come up with things that are just unusual, people are not used to that, and so they deem that out of their comfort zone, and they just shut it down. And so for me, understanding that my voice had power, the words that I wanted to share, my point of view had extreme power, and understanding and just accepting that, for me, shifting from a place of I should not say those things to an identity where I own my voice was the most powerful like shift that I did from within. I had to heal certain part of me, the codependent sides that I was literally groomed as a child to become codependent. So growing up, yes, I was, and I had to heal that, where understanding that I had my value to show and to bring into the world, but I was equally worthy of receiving the same value from others. So it wasn't just me giving to others and them just taking from me. It was equal relationship of give and take, and just accepting to receive certain things, love in certain ways, support in certain ways, especially as an entrepreneur, it's so important to understand and just shift from a place of I want to do it myself. Like that pride and that ego that comes in is like, I can do that myself because I have so much to prove, to just stepping, I would say, back home to where is your zone of genius and allowing others with their zone of genius to come and support and fill up the gaps because you're not supposed to do everything by yourself.
I agree. One of your favorite ideas in your book is the phrase, you are the niche. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. You are the niche. It's like we go back to the essence. You are the space that people want to come in and just stay in. Like we think that the niche is what you serve others with, whereas the your essence, your gift, your God-given gifts are what people are coming to you for. This is what we were mentioning earlier, your unique selling point, basically. You are the niche. That means that you have to allow yourself for your gift, no matter how unique they are. And the more unique they are, the better. And the more you are, for example, bringing different things together. For example, like for me, literally, the three religion plus spirituality plus uh plus business and all of these things. Like that book was never ever released before. There is never someone who has released something like this. How do I know? I searched, and I did have that doubt phase where I was like, if that was a thing, someone would have came up with it before. But guess what? It is a thing because I came up with it. And this is something that I believe, especially in this day and age that we live in, where division is just rampant and everywhere. It's like it's just bringing tearing us apart, especially these days, bringing back people together on a common uh, agreement and knowledge and something that we all believe in, God Himself, is very important. And so that's what I stand for. I know that other people stand for the same thing, but they probably did not. I mean, they never definitely didn't publish a book about it, but they are looking for a place. They are looking for people who think the same. And one thing that is not that I didn't know, but one thing that made me realize that even more at the beginning of this year, I went here locally in Phoenix. I attended a what's called the vision board party. So that's my vision board right here. This is literally what we've done. And I was like just freshly arrived because I moved here in November. And I was sitting in a very long table with other women. And we were crafting the vision boards. And the woman just next to me, she was like, she just said something. She just said, all the religion and all, like, they're all the same. They say that they stand for the same thing. It's all the same. And she said that, and I was like, yes, finally, like the people who think like me, I knew. And then at the beginning of the meeting, something made me say, I know that we are here. We were meant to be here today. And then the event just unfolded. And then she said that. And I was like, I told you we were meant to be here today. Like God just brought us together. And we were women from different ages, different background, like really different strangers coming together and just uniting on that idea. And we were like, yeah, this is true. And I know that many people out there are looking for that kind of safe space where you can pray to God in the way that you pray to God and you're still accepted no matter what. Uh, and that is so important. That is so, so important to me and to the people who are looking for this. Then, hi.
I might have been at that same vision board party. I'm not sure, but we'll talk about that later.
Sure, yeah, maybe.
Why do you think so many entrepreneurs spend years trying to copy other people's strategies instead of building their own gifts?
Yeah, it goes back to something I mentioned before, is like we go to school, and I have very specific thought about public school and all of these things, but we grow up, we go to school trusting into somebody else's vision, trusting in somebody else's authority. They know better, the teachers know better, the parents know better. You go start working, the boss knows better. Everybody knows better. And so when you are transitioning to working for yourself, somebody else's must know better because they made six figures, they made millions of dollars, they are super like successful, they know better. So basically, let's just learn from them. And this is where we lose our own connection with ourselves, with understanding that, do you know what? Yes, they know, but so do I. I know what's for me and I know what's not for me. And I know what I need to focus on growing and learning more. Maybe it's accounting, maybe it's marketing, maybe it's email marketing, maybe it's just public speaking, maybe it's my craft. But I know what's for me. I know it deep down. It's just like that disconnection with our own intuition and our own sovereignty that we go through. And entrepreneurship will humble you like nothing else. That and motherhood, if you know, you know.
Mm.
And so you're gonna be forced to face certain things where you're gonna learn in the hard way, the way that I did, where I just, gave my sovereignty to others and I was just following until I had enough. I broke down and I was like, this is enough for me. I'm done with this. Or the sooner you learn, basically, the better it is. Like learn to just trust yourself because you know God is speaking to you through intuition and you have signs all over. You just have to just accept to receive them and know they are not woo woo. No, this is not delusional. No, this is not stupid because it is literally your blueprint to success. You know things that others don't, and you know more than you think you do. And that's the part that I really want to accentuate and hone in on is like you know way more than you think you do. You just have to listen again, come home to yourself again and and hear yourself without external pressure. Like if all of this didn't matter, like learn to just, which is something I teach my clients to do, and I do that with them, is like, let's just put aside all of these external validations, voices and stuff like that, the expectations, like, and go back to yourself and hear that voice within, because very simply, if you believe you have potential, that is the voice you have to listen to. That is the proof. All of us, we know that we should be further along. And that voice tends to be belittled and put apart and aside. There's a lot of people who will tell you you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Yet from inside, you feel like there's a pressure that you should be further along. And I'm going to tell you something. You're right. You should be further along because you deep down, you know that if you were listening to that voice, you would be further along that where you are right now.
Mhm.
Whatever is holding you back, whatever is holding you back right now is everything but that voice. The voice will sound crazy because it is not supposed to feel and sound logical when there's a path, a unique path that was just created for you. That voice, it knows where you should be. If you feel frustrated with your current situation, it's because you know you deserve better.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because and I think of it in the terms of like we were created in God's image, right? So he's a
Yeah,
powerful creator.
yeah.
So we're powerful creators too, but we just have to trust ourselves enough to use our gifts.
Absolutely. And I think what you have just said is so important. And that's something that we just forget. Because to me, the way that every time this keeps coming back in my mind, I'm like, if we truly understood this truth is a truth, if we truly understood this truth, we would completely rebuke and reject anything that says otherwise.
Hmm.
And then we are unstoppable by his grace and his mercy and his will, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
How can someone discover what makes them uniquely valuable in the marketplace?
So you have different tools, but again, come back to God. And I know that I'm going to say it frankly, years ago, before I had this relationship and closeness with God, I heard that so many times and I was like, yeah, good luck with that. God doesn't love me, or he's not going to talk to me, because we think we just are lost in all the things that happen to us that change the way that we see ourselves. And that then there's kind of like this disconnection and this disbelief in ourselves, in him, even if we believe in his existence. That happens to everyone, I think. Uh, but truly, don't underestimate that if you hear this message, if you hear any message from God, is him calling you back to him directly, because you are worthy of it. There is nothing you had to do specifically. It's not about deserving, it's about being worthy. You were born worthy of that relationship with him, first and foremost. That is so important. And then you have different tools, which I, again, can be, it can sound very controversial to people who are believers, but I really do believe that there's a lot of wisdom and knowledge to take in from astrology and from human design. I love human design particularly because of the amount of wisdom that it brings together. And I think that the point where people get lost when it comes to those tools is that they slowly or directly kind of start like worshiping the tools as opposed to the creator. And God, for me, is the only one that deserves worship, nothing and nobody else. So I remember every single time that I go into searching for myself and for him through those tools, that I'm worshiping him. That this is going to work only if he wants it to work. If he doesn't want this to work, that's not going to work for me. Other tools, the scriptures. Are you kidding me? Go through the scriptures, read them, and take your time with them. Like ponder on them, not just like for reading and stuff like that, but read every sentence and like let them sink into your body, into your mind, into your soul, and wonder what does it mean. Like create that relationship with God, because he's going to be there with you when you read the scriptures. When you have that pure intention of meeting him, you're going to meet him. He's going to meet you anywhere where you want to meet him, for sure. Whether you read the Torah, the Bible, or the Quran, regardless of your faith, God is above all of it. God is above all of it. So regardless of the tool, scripture, astrology, whatever, like you have so many um, psychological tests that you can take and stuff like that. If you are looking for yourself and God in the tool, you will find him and yourself. 100%.
Yeah, I think it all works together. I didn't realize that until recently, until I've been studying a lot on mindset and human design and, visualization, meditation, breath work, that kind of thing. But I think all the tools work together and you just have to find the ones that work for you.
Exactly. I totally agree. I think that there's a lot of people who also don't understand human design, and there is people who love it. If this is not your tool, just look for the next tool that will work for you. But it's all about uh just taking in wisdom. Take what's for you and leave the rest for others. If you hear a message, you scroll on social media or whatever, you hear a message, take what's for you. If there's anything for you, if not, just like if it's not for you, just leave the rest for others. Just keep scrolling. That's the mentality. Like keep searching for yourself in all the things and keep searching for God. And I promise, if there is a promise that I can know and hold and give, is that wherever you look for God, He will meet you there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. For the entrepreneur listening right now who's struggling to stand out, where should they start?
You're struggling to stand out because you are comparing yourself to others, and this is where you're gonna have to stop doing so. When you are scrolling social media looking for quote unquote inspiration, you are losing yourself. This is not how you stand out in your industry. The more unique you are, the more you will naturally stand out. And if there is something that I cannot stress out more than this, is that I'm someone that is naturally gifted with creativity, thanks God. And every single time that I work with my clients, I just say something very, very simple. As an overall rule in business, if the market is going forward, go backward. If the market is going backward, go forward. What does it mean? It means if the market, generally speaking, you look at whatever like is happening in your industry, if they're going forward, they just say everyone right now is everyone. There's a lot of people right now who are pushing for AI, okay? AI talking head videos and all of these things. Well, go backward. That's all that I keep saying. Go backward. Write your own piece of content as much as you can and do real face talk video because people right now more than ever and the more the time will go, the more they will want that. They want real faces. This is how you stand out. Don't be scripted. I understand it's easier to be scripted and stuff like that. Just gather bullet points and know what you want to say and allow yourself to be imperfect in your videos. Like if you mess up a part, just go back and laugh at it and keep moving. That's what people want to see. They want realness right now more than ever. That is what I mean by the market is going forward, go backward. If it's the other way around, there are certain industries that do not evolve when they should. And everything is so like backward, and you feel like everything is like you feel like you're in the Middle Ages.
Mm,
And so this is where you have to bring innovation, do something different, something new that nobody ever did, like launch this kind of book. You know what I mean? Like dare to be different that way. It's not about comparing yourself with, oh, they are doing this, they are doing that, they're doing this, like, and oh, I need to measure up. This is competition. No, no, no. The competition does not exist in God's realm. It just doesn't. There's a reason why he created us different because he can. We are literally different down to our fingerprint, okay? That kind of difference because, he doesn't I don't think that God believes in competition.
mm,
You know what I mean? So accept that you have something unique, no matter how crazy you think that could be, or sometimes we don't see our gift until someone says it. And that's why one of the reasons why I like human design because it just really brings that in front of your face, like literally. And so understand where are your gifts first of all, like you might think that something is your gift but it's not really. So that's why when I work with my clients I just clarify that for them, like at the beginning I go through their charts and I talk to them as well because it's not just about relying on the tools but having this back and forth with my clients to understand them and what they think is their zone of genius. For me precisely, I look at someone in a very short time. I have this gift of discernment and I know and I see what is your higher self. I see you right here, but in my mind I imagine what you could be because I see it clearly. And not only I see it clearly, but I see the path for you to get there. And so I can help also in that matter for sure. And so sometimes it's just understanding like that trust that we don't have sometimes, and someone comes in and be like, oh my God, you would do so much better if you were doing this and this and this and this. And then you just have borrowed confidence, borrowed trust at that moment until you have it for yourself, really. And so going back to your question again, and it's about uh, really don't compare yourself to the market. Just don't do that. Just see what's going on out there and be very, very different. Like be yourself and be like, how can I use my best creativity right now? Or who do I know is very creative and can help me with something very creative, like something that just uh, shakes the status quo and just go for it. Be bold, own it, own it. If you think I didn't have to own this before I had to publish this, it took a lot of courage and I even sat down with God before uh publishing it and I was like, in my feelings, and I was crying, and I was like, is this what you want me to do? Because this is crazy. And then I heard his voice. He was like, are you kidding me? Among all the books that you could have published, all the things that you could have done, all the ideas that you had for publishing books before, because I did start a lot of books and none of them saw the light of day. And he was like, among all of those ideas, you chose to go for this one and you think I'm not gonna bless it? Ouch.
Yeah, I love that. Have you ever followed a direction that made absolutely no business sense at the time?
100%. So many times over. And so I I'm trying to find like I really am trying to find one of them right now to give you, but like so many like I'm blank. I'm going blank. Like of course, and that God and the 5D and what's possible for us has nothing to do with logic. Logic comes after, when the things that are crazy were made true. This is where logic comes from after that, because logic is based on evidences, and there is no evidence until something is done. So don't even try to go logic with that. And for example, one thing that I keep saying in business that literally no one is talking about, even business is not logical when you think about it, because business is based on consumer psychology. Okay, so marketing was created based on consumer psychology. There is no business without marketing. You cannot, if you don't market, you don't sell, etc. And so what is consumer psychology? Well, that's psychology. And you think about psychology, um, the reason why people buy, they buy based on their feelings, and then they justify with logic. But the one that led is the feeling. What is logical about a feeling? It's the most irrational thing is a feeling. Business, the foundation of business is based on the most irrational thing. A love, a feeling, an aversion, a fear, a feeling. There is literally nothing stable, logical about that.
Mhm.
So, as I say, screw the rules. You make your own rules because of that. It's an opportunity to just come in and do whatever you want, because that is the entire idea of entrepreneurship. That is the entire idea of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree. Many entrepreneurs feel stuck waiting for results. What would you say to someone who feels like nothing is happening?
When that happens, it could be because of two things. So first of all, we go back into understanding what strategy you were following, what you applied. Did you really do something like deep down? Do you believe that this is the strategy for you? Okay. So for example, when I really was at the verge of making my first six figures business, I had those first 90 days, really like 90 days of work, eat, sleep, work, eat, sleep. And I was pushing, pushing, pushing. And I knew that I had to trust myself, right? I knew that it was the right, best way, new way for me to follow. Like, it's just like I'm giving it my all. I go all in. And very close to the 90-day kind of, yeah, at that time frame, I doubted myself. I doubted myself, and I was like, shit, is this really what's going to happen for me? Like, I've been doing this in and out, and still I don't see any results. And so, yeah, I doubted myself. I cried, and I was like really at the verge of deleting my entire store. I was like, in my feelings, really. And then right before, like the page was open and I was about to delete the freaking store, and then I just stopped myself and I was like, recenter, think. In 90 days from now, will you regret this decision? I said, yeah, immediately. And I was like, from here, from today, for the next 90 days, is there anything that you know you can implement that you have not done before, something that you have skipped? And I was like, yeah. I knew immediately what that was. It was like one very simple step, but I knew exactly what it was. And then I was like, okay, you go and do that. And in 90 days, if that doesn't happen because you know you have tried everything, then you close the store. Well, guess what? A few days later, the sales started coming in, and the rest was freaking history because I applied that one thing that I knew I had, like that voice within that was calling me for the last 6 months was telling me to do that thing. 6 months lost, and I almost closed my business before the six figures happened because I did not follow that one freaking simple step. When I'm telling you that this voice within understands what you should be doing, just follow her. Follow her. And at the beginning, it's gonna start like, it's gonna feel like, what the hell am I doing? It doesn't make sense. Or like, your mind is gonna hold you back. But again, it's about going back to self-trust. I've got myself no matter what happens. No matter what happens, I've got my back. I can rebound. There's always something that I can do. You're not lost. You're not like falling from the sky. You've got yourself. There's a reason why you went into entrepreneurship is because deep down, you know you can trust yourself. So go back into trusting yourself. And the self-trust, guess what? You only get it from trusting yourself, from doing the damn thing when it's scary, when it makes no sense, and then you get the evidence. That's the only way you get the evidence, and then you get self-trust, evidence, and it's a loop like that. And there is always going to be someone who's going to come to you and be like, oh no, you should do this, you should do that, or like, use my funnel, use the advertisement, no, go organic, do this, do that, do that. Like, of course, that's always gonna happen. But then you know at which step what you should be implementing, right? And so that's also one thing that I help my clients understanding and having that discernment of like, okay, this is what you've done so far. Right now, what makes logical sense in your journey is if you do this, then that, and then this, then that. Like come up with like a real strategy that is 100% based on them. Like I know that there's a lot of people who say and claim that this is what they're doing, but the way that I do it, again, like we go back into understanding who you are. I want to understand and I want to feel who you are when I'm having this connection and this conversation with you. And then I just reflect that back to you so you understand who the hell you are and how amazing you are. I need you to feel it so that it keeps coming back out of you even stronger. And then we create the strategy, the business, the branding that feels and looks like you, the wording, the copy that sounds like you, the experience that your clients, buyers go through that feels like they are with you all the steps of the way. And so on and so forth. And then the way that you work in the back end, that's super important as well. I look into how you like to work, how your energy works. I am huge, huge on energy. This is so important because I burned out and I don't want that to happen to you. And so we go into understanding how you work, like how, like, do like for example, me as a generator, I have constant energy. A lot of my clients tend to be projectors, money gens and stuff like that. Their energy works different. So I'm not going to give them my generator way of working. That's not going to work for them. We're going to go into understanding if they're a projector or whatever else and how their energy works, and we go ride the cycle of that energy and how they make decisions as well, because human design gives you how you make decision. It gives you how you manifest, so how you bring in money and all of this stuff, right? Again, all of that through God and with Him. And so we take all of this into consideration and we create that your own literal blueprint to success, how you work, how your business needs to be tended for, and we make sure that one does not take over the others because that is both important. And the point of entrepreneurship really is for you to create a brand that doesn't require your input all the time. So the freedom that you started this for, you get it. It is not just a nice thing to say. It is a proven promise that I have given to myself because hey, I'm a generator. Okay, I love working, but I like my time off.
Right. I'm a generator too, so I know.
Yeah. Yeah, we need that time off. Like otherwise we don't have the energy, right? And it's having the energy for the things that excite us and it's about staying in the excitement. Somebody else, like as I said, projector, money gen, manifester, like they would have a different way of doing things as well. And so again, we all started being in business because we want to be free, like it's not about clocking in and out, like screw that. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm completely against that. So yeah, you have a family, like I'm a mom, like my child comes first, and so if I need to be with my child and I love my business like my own baby, I'm gonna make sure that I have a system in place that allows everyone to be supported and me as well, because again, I'm not in it to burn out. I need time with my husband. I'm gonna make sure that my systems allow that as well. We were not born to work, but we've got to make sure that our businesses fulfill us, but also allows that freedom and that personal space that we need, because they all, this everything is an ecosystem. Every part feeds into the others, and so that's the whole idea of creating a brand, generally speaking.
You make an interesting distinction in your book about God as the source of money and or source and money as the resource.
Yeah.
Why is that concept so important?
Because people tend to worship money. It's very easy, and I've done it without even knowing that I was doing it. You would have told me that I was doing it, I would tell you, no, I'm in complete denial. I would have been in complete denial, but in like introspection and insight and just seeing how I was prioritizing my business over my prayers, for example, or other stuff, and I was definitely in the worship of money. And like, for example, when you have like that goal, like especially the first 10K, if you have never done that before, like when you are still at that point, or like if you're aiming for your first 100,000 a month, or for your next milestone, like the $1 million, like you're just really focused on that and you put that on a pedestal. And this is not the best way of approaching this, because then if you put it on the pedestal, it's going to own you. You don't want money to own you. You don't want your business to own you. That's not the point, right? Sovereignty, going back to sovereignty is important. And so when you understand that God is above you and then you, there's literally no one in between, and then everything else is a tool or a mean. Everything else is meant to serve you. You're not there to serve any of these things. You cannot let any of these things control you in any way, shape, and form. Otherwise, they own you. If they own you, you worship them. You have that kind of like dysfunctional relationship. And so yeah, there's a lot of, like I'm all about journaling and affirmation, and which is something that is written in my book as well, But the money loves me and all of these affirmations that just put money on top of you, they make zero sense. God loves you, and because he loves you, he provides for you, because that's literally one of his promises from the beginning. He's going to provide for you, right? And so that's a resource. It's not the source. You don't manifest the money like that, manifesting money. You pray to God so that he brings you the resources needed, and money is one of them. It's also important to just, put things apart, because I said, again, like it's so easy to just fall into that trap that you don't even see it yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Do you believe everyone has the ability to create wealth?
Yes, we all have it in different ways. Like, again, I'm going to go back to human design, but all of the other things as well is like we all have our own ways of bringing wealth together. So also understanding what is the definition of wealth. It's not just money, is everything else. The resources is like the wealth is literally gathering of resources and human resources. So people, people are wealth, children are wealth, uh, things are wealth, like objects are wealth. Our health is tremendous, tremendous wealth. That is one thing that we don't talk enough, in the business world. Is like we talk about the strategy, but the energy that we bring in is like, again, if you don't have the energy, there is no your essence is not going to shine the way it's supposed to. And so the ones who are around, people who are around and they are literally praying for what you've got for them, they're not going to see you because the signal is not going to be there. And so again, the wealth that you have within, your knowledge is wealth. Your knowledge is tremendous wealth. And then you have money, you have all the assets and stuff like that. All of this is wealth. And we are all of us are wired and designed to create wealth. It just is a matter of understanding what wealth you want to create, how wealthy you want to create. Like, do you want to be wealthy in time? Do you want to have more time than other things? Or do you want to have more money than other things? Or do you want to have more relationships than other things? What is your own definition of wealth? And you get to create that because you allow yourself to. There is this allowing that is super important because this is our willpower. Your willpower is important. This is a very important ingredient in receiving things. You see, there's a lot of people who say God's timing, Godspeed, Godspeed, Godspeed. But do you think that God is going to bring you something that inside you keep pushing back, or you don't want to receive, even if you say you want to, but there are things within that are locking you from receiving? If your will, you don't have the will to receive, then that's the ultimate promise of life and God, is that He respects your will, your willpower. You know, the choices that you make. Do you allow yourself to receive now at any point? Yes, God will bring it to me in the future, okay? But I'm ready to receive it right here, right now. And I will stay open to receiving it until I do.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I mean, in my entrepreneurial journey, I had to go into the mindset where I gave myself permission to do certain things like earn money and like because you have these limiting beliefs all your life, right? And you have to overcome those in order to become an entrepreneur. It's just part of the process.
Yeah,
So you have to allow yourself permission to do whatever you want and then make a decision to do it.
absolutely. Absolutely. And there's always going to be external things. And we are talking about God, so we're going to talk about the enemy himself, who's going to come directly to you or through people who don't even know that they are coming from, his push. But the that's gonna be there, of course. And like, remember what you did, and you're not worthy, and how can you think like that about yourself, and what makes you think that people are gonna pay for this? Like all of this BS, like straight from the devil himself. Like, yeah, you've got to make the choice to rebuke that. It's a choice. Is it easy? No, no. Especially when it's been there for so long that you have accepted that as a belief about yourself, and this is how you see yourself. Then it's also a choice to let go of it. Is it easy? No. But that is also something I help my clients with, because I am also a hypnotherapist, so I include hypnotherapy in what I do with my clients. Like, rewire, like reprogram the brain as to what you were told and taught to believe about yourself. This is so important to let go of those things. You know what I mean? So yeah.
You talk about building more than a business, you talk about building a legacy. What does that mean to you?
Legacy is for a very long time. I think this is the term that a lot of us, me included, I was seeing it as, the famous I like the idea of the painter. You create your work and then you die, and then this is where everyone loves your work, not when you're alive. But the truth of the matter is that legacy is something you build in real time. You build it as you live your life. When you do something and someone, or you work with someone, for example, you have helped that person overcome something, and then they go and teach the same thing to others, that second generation of people is your legacy. You get to see that as you're alive. And so that is one thing for me, that I have had this pull of creating my legacy. And when I sat down with God and myself and understanding, like, who do I want to help in this world? Because I'm really good at selling. That's my gift. God gifted me with understanding how to sell. And I love this. Like, I love selling so much, and I want to for people to learn that as well. And so I could be selling this to anyone, no, regardless of what they are selling. I could be making so much money out of it, but I have something called integrity that holds me back from giving that gift to just anyone. So, what do I believe in? I believe in health. And so I am focusing on holistic entrepreneurs, especially women, because I know that those women are here to heal the world. And I want this world to heal so bad, because I'm also someone who needs healing with my personal health. And so energy is everything to me, as I said earlier. And so if I help those women help more people, then as I see them helping other people, I have completed my aim of legacy. I see my legacy in real time. I see those people healing and being supported with whatever is that they need, that the burden that they just want to let go of, and all of these things. It is the most beautiful thing I can ever do throughout my life. And so that is important for me. And so you get to see your legacy as you're spreading your gift and serving your purpose.
Agreed. Yeah, I
Mhm.
love that. So that's all the questions I have for you today. What do you have anything to share with the audience that you think they need to know?
I think we've done like a full 360 of what's really important. Um, as I'm sitting right here right now, I know that we have covered a lot. And so let that sink in into your body for a while. You don't need to like make a decision about anything that we have covered or anything that I said, but let that steer in your mind and in your soul. And I trust God that within the next few whatever days or months, you will know exactly what to do in your business and creating your legacy. I know you are guided. I just want you to understand that you're definitely guided, no matter how scary entrepreneurship can get. It is also a beautiful journey, and you're doing the right thing, no matter how challenging that may feel in the moment right now. You're doing the right thing for you. Just keep doing it.
I agree. How can people get a hold of you?
Oh, so the best way to get in touch with me is directly through my website. So I think you're gonna have the link, but
Yes.
I'm also available on Facebook. This is my favorite platform these days, and on TikTok as well. So you're gonna have the links for all of them. And yeah, definitely. And by the way, you can slide in my DMs. I'm totally okay with that, unless you're a bro marketer. That's not a space for you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Quinn. I really appreciate you, and your insight and knowledge into entrepreneurship is just amazing. So I
It's
appreciate
been
you.
it's been an absolute honor. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. And if you're an author, entrepreneur, or thought leader looking to turn your message into a business, make sure you subscribe to the Author Entrepreneur Collective. Until next time, remember your book is not the business, your book is the beginning of the business.